Hey guys, this is Mike Carleo, and I'm here with another session of my Tuesday Tips series. And today's topic is going to be anchoring. Now, anchoring is a beginner topic that I use to help teach my beginner students. And for those beginner players that are out there that are looking to get your transitioning smoother on open chords and eventually bar chords and power chords, this is going to be a very, very good tip to use when making those transitions a lot smoother. Now, anchoring uses common notes as well as bass notes to help get your hand in the right position and the right shape to press down on the fretboard correctly and smoothly. So for the first chord that I teach is E minor. When playing an E minor chord, I like to marry these two fingers to your second and third finger on the second fret of the A and the D string. Now, marrying fingers together a lot of the time will help you press down on the fretboard more correctly as well as more accurately. So an anchor note could be these two notes. It could be more than one note, but this is a great way to get started for this. And then when you go to E major, your anchor note will still be your second and third finger going on that chord. Now let's talk about a different chord, C major and F major. Now these are chords that are a little more down the line, a couple of weeks more into 4 or 5 weeks down the line when learning guitar. At least that's the way I do it. And the way I teach C major and F major is to use the anchor note with your third finger on either the A string on the third fret or your third finger on the D string third fret. Now these are both the root notes of their respective chords. So C major, your C is on the third fret, and then F major, your third finger is also on the third fret of the D. So the reason why I use the bass note and my third finger as an anchor note is because it gets my hand in the correct positioning and the correct angle so I can press down accurately. If I just use my first finger as an anchor note, notice how my other two fingers are not located near the fretboard and not making the shape of C. So if I use my third finger, I naturally have the angle and my two fingers are going to be pressing down a lot smoother. This goes the same way for F. If I use this, I can get the correct angle for F major as well. Now this all lies with because my thumb is over the fret, and that is actually in my other series, Guitar for Dummies series, and when I teach open chords in my introduction to guitar, I go over the rules, and this is one of the rules for open chords. My thumb is always over the fret. Now when using a D major chord, when going to it or transitioning to it, it's very, very important to have an anchor note for this as well, because this is a very tricky chord for a lot of people that are just getting it. It was tricky for me when I first started learning. I use the third finger, again, as the anchor note. Now, it's not the bass note or the lowest note of the chord, but it is a great common note from either C add 9 or G major to help transition smoother. So if I'm going from a G chord to a D chord, my third finger has to play that note anyway, which is D already. So I'm not going to pick it up. I'm going to help that stay down so I can get my other two fingers going to D much smoother. If I'm going from a C add 9 chord to a D chord, same thing. So that would be a common note rather than a bass note. Now another transition that I like to teach is further down the line. I like to teach a lot of 90s music for beginner students because it's pretty simple, and also it's a great way to get newer chords for beginner students and help them kind of go out of the traditional open chords. So another chord I call is the 90s chord. And the reason why I call it the 90s chord is because it's used in almost every 90s song. This is the F sharp minor 7 add 4. Now, if you tell that to a beginner student, you're kind of going to intimidate them. They're like, what is that? Because of their theory and not knowing exactly what's being added and what's being suspended. But I just call it the 90s chord. That helps. It's a key word that helps them remember it. Your third finger and fourth finger are on the fourth fret of the A and D string, respectively, and then your first finger is on the second fret of the G string. Now, using a common note to get to E major, all you need to do is keep your first finger down on the G string and slide down to the first fret. And then when I go to a D chord, I slide back up to the second fret, or if I'm going back to a 90s chord, I'll keep that. So it's very important to keep either your finger on the string and go and transition to a note that's either close by or a common note, or it's important to keep your finger down on the same note if it is a common note. So there's pretty much three options. There's the bass note, there's the common note, which is the same note, and then there's also a different note but very, very close by. So the last chord I want to help you with is with a G major chord, which creates a lot of problems for people because it uses all 6 strings and it gets all 4 fingers involved. The way I like to make my G major chord is with my second finger. Now this is that bass note option to create that anchor. So the reason why is because it automatically puts my hand in the right shape, in the right angle, so I can put it down. Now some people use their their third and fourth finger as the anchor and then put these 2 fingers down. But it doesn't, like I said, with C major, it does the same thing. It doesn't necessarily get your hand in the right position. The second finger will automatically get your hand in the right position. Just like that. That's all I have for today on my Tuesday tips session for anchoring. If you'd like to get to learn about me more, you can check me out at my website below, my Facebook page, and for shorter clips, you can check me out on my Instagram and Twitter. Thanks again, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel.